The possibilities are endless, but also daunting when you move into a new house. How do you turn a drab, little middle room into something that adds another dimension and a practical utility to your home? Do you make it into a guest room? What if you don't need one? Convert it into a plain office, a sitting room for guests, or some combination of all of these? Where to begin? Most of us have things we love, but have no idea where to put them. They end up either stored or crammed in places where they don't belong and look like clutter. The modern response to stuff is just to do away with it altogether, with sterile minimalism, to just cram it in places where it doesn't look good. We started with a hand-carved chest of drawers, 2 club chairs that didn't fit in anywhere, a set of old leather suitcases bought on whim, some sepia prints, a model car, and a few other pieces of art. A random assortment indeed, but they gave us an aesthetic focal point. 2 practical objects, the chairs and the commode, with, as it turns out, a shared, warm, honey-colored wood, which also happened to be close to the color of the leather suitcases. The art frames were dark or gold, so we began to have a theme of a warm golden color and a dark contrast. Dark or light. The room has one fairly narrow, horizontal window, and it only gets sun in the morning. Much of the day, it just receives indirect light. Most people's reaction is to counter the relative lack of sunlight with white or bright colors. But you can actually go the opposite direction. Contrast dark, like chocolate and black, with reflective colors, such as copper and bronze. Some will say that it makes a room look smaller, but I think it creates drama and elegance, while at the same time eliciting a feeling of warmth. Texture, color, and materials. I wanted to create a sense of texture and color through wallpaper. Once I knew my color palette, which was given to me by the pieces I was starting with, I began looking at wall coverings, and I couldn't settle on one in particular. I found an intricate bronze and black wallpaper that was originally $150 a roll, and I got it for under $5 per roll. While the black is indisputably dark, the bronze adds a radiance to the room that offsets the lack of natural light. It also provides an interesting texture and pattern. I then bought a modeled, copper-colored, discontinued wallpaper for the same price, which looks like it has a sponged paint effect. Finally, I added a paintable wallpaper meant to look like wooden beadboard. That meant I would also need a chair rail to form a border between the beadboard and the other papers. The division of the room with the beadboard also provides some relief to the dark, contrasting a lighter color with the warm, rich palette. You can produce wall art by the juxtapositions of different textures and colors, and you don't have to paper a whole room or wall and end there. On one wall, there are panels of the more ornate, patterned wallpaper around the door, juxtaposed against the copper wallpaper, so that you get the sense of alternating, variegated panels. This method also produces a framing effect for the paintings. I used a braided vertical molding between the different panels of wallpaper, and also on the bronze and black wallpaper to break up the pattern and add another layer of sophistication. We decided to remove the carpet. At first, we refinished the original pine floors, but the stain didn't turn out well. We decided to put in an oak floor with alternating width panels to match the 75-year-old original oak floors throughout much of the house. The honey stain was dark, but also golden. Finally, we painted the white beadboard a quinoa color, lighter than everything else, but still rich, and added a stained oak 5-inch baseboard. The final effect is of an artistic, detailed, and elegant room. While it meant more labor on my part, it has a finished quality that only comes from attention to detail. Furniture. My philosophy is to use furniture and pieces that are meaningful to you. Creating a room around furniture, art, and objects that you love, but don't know what to do with, will help you design a room that builds up your aesthetics out of your heart. Instead of a table, I took the 2 antique leather suitcases and put a piece of glass on them. The 1963 Ford Galaxy model car was placed on the suitcases next to a size-appropriate French Art Deco wrought iron boudoir lamp. The crystal decanters on the commode add a sparkle to complement the radiance of the wallpaper. Keep in mind, the art doesn't need to be all in the same style or genre. There are sepia-colored photographs of Paris in the 30s, a painting of Montmartre, a print of King David, and an abstract painting. The colors work, and the contrast and style provides some interest to the room. While I was trying to create the aura of a gentleman's smoking room, I wasn't 100% bound by the period, the 19th and early 20th centuries. The desk was a woman's vanity table from Scotland, recently refinished. It's just the right size for a small room, but still provides ample working space. This is an office, a place to read in privacy, a room for your guests to work or relax in and feel like they have some of their own space. It's a room that probably would have been wasted space and is now a second work-at-home office. And it's also a home to objects that would otherwise have been relegated to storage, but now can be savored. Illumizon transforms your space through craftsmanship, color, and lighting. We started in men's fashion, opening 2 boutiques, both critically acclaimed for their interior design. We were recognized twice by Gen Arts for the best menswear. Celebrated in the New York Times, Details, and Vogue, Ocean Drive magazine nominated our Miami boutique for best store design. Since then, our mission has been to cast away the darkness of conformity and mass production. Illumizon landscape design can add new dimensions to your garden, layering color, fragrance, and perspective. No plot of land is too small or humble to be transformed into a piece of paradise.